It's 11 p.m. and these are the headlines. President of the Republic Abdelmajid Tebboune arrives to the Brotherly Sultanate of Amman for state visit aiming to consolidate ties of brotherhood, cooperation and consultation between the two countries. A fraternal and working visit of the President of the Republic to the Arab Republic of Egypt that embodies the convergence of views, positions and the will to strengthen coordination for the benefit of the Arab and Muslim nation. Chief of Staff of the People's National Army receives the Deputy Minister of Cuban Revolutionary Armed Forces, with talks focusing on promoting military cooperation to face up the challenges. 62nd anniversary of the recovery of national sovereignty over radio and television. A ceremony was held this morning at the headquarters of the Algerian television in memory of the Shuhada of national duty who devoted their lives to these two institutions. Welcome back, everyone. Today, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, began a state visit to the Sultanate of Amman, a brotherly country within the framework of strengthening the ties of brotherhood, cooperation and consultation between the two countries. The President of the Republic arrived in the capital, Muscat, coming from the Arab Republic of Egypt. He was welcomed at Muscat International Airport by His Excellency Sultan Haytham bin Tariq. The President of the Republic greeted the dignitaries and senior military officials welcoming him. For his part, His Excellency the Sultan Haytham bin Tariq greeted the high-level delegation accompanying the President of the Republic. Relations between Algeria and the Sultanate of Amman are characterized by convergence of views that serve the interests of the two countries and the Arab and Muslim nation, and which is the fruit of consultations and dialogue between the leaders of the two countries. In the airport's lounge of honor, the President of the Republic had talks with His Excellency the Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, who welcomed him and the high-level delegation accompanying him. And as part of his tradition during his visit abroad to listen directly to the concerns of the national community, the President of the Republic and in Muscat met with the representatives of the diaspora residing in the Sultanate of Amman. The President listened to the members of the national community, tackling many fields, especially those related to investment, higher education, scientific research and trade. Following their meeting with the President, members of the national community hailed the outcomes of the meeting, and the President paid attention to their concerns. Let's have a listen.
We were very proud and honored to have His Excellency the President of the Republic here in the Sultanate of Oman. The Sultanate of Oman is a sisterly country, but when you go outside Algeria, you are proud of your Algerian identity and your dear homeland. There was an exchange of ideas and the presentation of some concerns of the community here in Sultanate of Oman. Our meeting was spontaneous, and this is not strange from our President. We thank the President for his broad-mindedness in accepting all the concerns and everything that worries the Algerian living abroad. This visit will strengthen the relationship between the two sisterly countries. Of course, Algeria and the Sultanate of Oman have good relationship.
And the relations between Algeria and Oman witness a significant evolution, as the political agreement between the two countries will have a positive impact on the economic cooperation between the two countries. Yassir Hamdi will explain.
As part of its high-level diplomacy, Algeria is heading this time to the west of Asia, the Sultanate of Oman. A geostrategic axis in evolution thanks to the strong will of the leaders of the two countries that has a positive impact on the political, cultural and social relations. Algeria and Oman agree politically on urgent situations, particularly on what's happening in the Arab region.
تشكل عمان في غرب آسيا أحد الفاعلين في مجلس التعاون الخليجي.
In the west of Asia, Oman is an important member of the Gulf Cooperation Council. We are strengthening our relations with a strong economic, political and geostrategic partner. Algeria and Oman have always been intermediates for conflict resolution and are both known for their positive neutrality, which may have an impact on finding solutions to the conflicts in the region, especially to the Palestinian issue.
العلاقات العمانية الجزائرية هي علاقات مميزة.
The relations between Oman and Algeria are particular, but the visit of the Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune will reinforce the relations between the two countries in all the sectors. This political agreement will have a positive impact on the economic cooperation through the joint Algerian-Omani committee based essentially on energy, petrochemicals, the pharmaceutical industry and the desert agriculture.
هي زيارة الدولة من أجل تعزيز العلاقات الاقتصادية بين الدولتين الشقيقتين.
This visit aims to reinforce the economic cooperation between the two brotherly countries and create new investment opportunities through projects in several sectors such as energy, renewable energies and agriculture, such as the Algerian Omani company for fertilizers that produces more than 4 million tons of fertilizers yearly.
وهي الشركة الجزائرية العمانية للأسمدة الزراعية.
The cooperation between Algeria and the Sultanate of Oman aims to achieve projects of mutual benefit by creating new opportunities and perspectives, as well as find peaceful solutions to the regional and international issues.
And the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, completed his two-day working and fraternity visit to the Arab Republic of Egypt. The President was bid farewell at Cairo International Airport by his Egyptian counterpart, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. This visit offered great importance in light of the close relations between Algeria and the brotherly Republic of Egypt, and built on solid historical foundations, is an embodiment of the strong will of the leaders of the two countries to strengthen the joint effort in order to increase the volume of investments and upgrade the level of trade exchange at all levels and in various sectors. The visit also confirms the consensus reached in visions and positions and an agreement to deepen coordination and consultation on Arab issues and all that concerns the region, especially the main issue of Palestine. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, met today in Cairo with Egyptian businessman Ahmed Sadegh al-Suwaidi, owner of the largest Egyptian company in the electricity sector. The meeting was attended by the Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad Minister Ahmed Attaf and the Minister of Energy and Mines Mohamed Arqab. And a roundup of the President's visit to Cairo, where an official welcome was reserved for the President of the Republic by his Egyptian counterpart Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The two leaders showcased the convergence in positions on regional and international issues, including the Palestinian cause. Rania al-Bahri explains.
President Abdelmajid Tebboune's visit to Egypt is of major importance, reflecting the diplomatic weight of the two influential nations, both at the Arab, African and international levels. This visit is part of a dynamic aimed at strengthening the bonds of friendship and consolidating fraternal relations between Algeria and Egypt, with strategic objectives of significant scope for both countries. The official welcome that was reserved for the President of the Republic upon his arrival at Cairo International Airport by his brother, the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and at Al Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace reflected the great consideration reserved by Egypt for the President of the Republic, the strength of relations between the two brotherly peoples, and the exceptional relationship that binds the two leaders. The talks held between the two presidents later extended to high-level delegations from the two countries, were an opportunity to review and assess bilateral relations and explore ways and means to strengthen them in the future. They also made it possible to address several issues prevalent on the Arab scene and others, regional and international issues of common interest. During the joint press briefing, the two presidents expressed full agreement on several key issues, including stopping the genocide perpetrated by the Zionist entity in Gaza, the delivery of humanitarian aid, strengthening the political process in Libya, and supporting the ceasefire in Sudan. They also adopted a common position against the Zionist attacks in Lebanon and warned of the dangers of an escalation of the conflict throughout the region. In a move emphasizing the importance of economic cooperation, President Abdelmajid Tebboune received Egyptian businessman Ahmed Sadaq Swedi, the owner of the largest Egyptian company specializing in the field of electricity. This meeting is part of the objective of making economic collaboration a central axis of bilateral relations. This visit highlighted the shared ambitions of the two countries to strengthen trade and cooperation in various fields. The historical relations that bind the two countries are expected to be strengthened and further developed thanks to this visit, thus paving the way for promising partnership and strengthened Arab cooperation.
Army General Said Shingirha, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, received at the headquarters of the PNA the General Army Corps General Joaquin Quintas Sola, Deputy Minister of Cuban Revolutionary Armed Forces, who is on a working visit to Algeria, leading a large military delegation. Najh Tayar.
مرحبا مرحبا بك.
The welcoming ceremony began with the salute to the national flag, followed by a military salute presented to the house by a military formation representing the various forces of the National People's Army. During the meeting attended by the Secretary General of the Ministry of National Defense, force commanders, heads of departments and central directors of the General Staff of the National People's Army and the Ministry of National Defense, as well as the Ambassador of the Republic of Cuba to Algeria. The two parties discussed the international security context, underlining the need to combine efforts to meet the challenges and explore ways and means of strengthening cooperative relations between the two countries. The two sides also exchanged views on issues of common interest. On this occasion, the Army General gave a speech in which he welcomed the host delegation, stressing that relations between Algeria and the Republic of Cuba run deep and are characterized by historic ties of friendship, imbued with immutable values and principles, which have laid the foundations for exemplary bilateral cooperation based on mutual aid, solidarity, and support for the oppressed peoples and just causes headed by the Saharan and Palestinian issues. Furthermore, he stated that the positions of the two countries within the framework of the non-aligned movement have been characterized by conformity and convergence, stemming from a shared awareness of the need to institute a global movement that defends the interests of developing countries and rejects polarity. In this respect, the contribution of Algeria and Cuba have had a considerable and palpable effect on the action of this movement, whose motives that prevailed in its creation and in the strengthening of its activities remain relevant today in the light of current global mutations. The Army General also emphasized that relations between the two countries are undergoing continuous development in terms of consultation, coordination of positions on issues of common interest, and promotion of multidimensional cooperation in the political and economic spheres, as well as in human development, including health, culture, science, and sport. He added that the National People's Army is also working to put into practice the strategic visions of the leaders of our two countries, within the aim of promoting the partnership between our respective armies by creating a new dynamic in the field of military cooperation and putting in place the appropriate mechanisms for its implementation. For his part, Lieutenant General Joaquin Quintas expressed his pleasure at visiting Algeria, praising the firm determination he had observed in the Army General, Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, to consolidate bilateral military relations and raise them to the level of the aspirations of the leaders of the two friendly countries in order to lay the foundations for fruitful and mutually beneficial cooperation. At the end of the meeting, the two parties exchanged symbolic gifts before Lieutenant General Joaquin Quintas signed the People's National Army's Golden Book.
And tasked by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Prime Minister Nabil Arabawi presided over the installation ceremony of Mabrouk Zid al-Khair as President of the High Islamic Council in implementation of the Presidential Decree of October 14, 2024. 62nd anniversary of the recovery of national sovereignty over radio and television. A ceremony was held this morning at the headquarters of the Algerian television in memory of the Shuhada of national duty who devoted their lives to these two institutions. The ceremony was attended by a representative of the Communication Directorate at the Presidency of the Republic, the Directors General of the Public Television, the National Radio and the Public Broadcasting Institution, head of the Audiovisual Regulatory Authority and the Secretary General of the Trade Union Center, alongside the press family, executives and workers of the two institutions. And now let's have a listen to the Director General of the APTV, Mohamed Baghali.
هذه الذكرى نتذكر
We commemorate today the recovery of the sovereignty on television and radio. On the 28th of October 1962, the Algerians completed the recovery of the sovereignty on their identity and history. Today, we have to preserve the sovereignty, the security, the stability, and the national unity.
بالمساهمة في الحفاظ على هذه السيادة في الحفاظ على استقرار الجزائر وأمنها ووحدتها.
The Algerians consider the recovery of national sovereignty over radio and television another crucial embodiment of Algeria's independence, a crucial step indeed led by journalists and technicians who managed to ensure the continuity of broadcasting. Yasin Hamdi.
62 years ago, Algeria recovered its sovereignty on the Algerian radio and television. More than a symbolic date, it also reflects the truth in the national skills that allowed the raise of the national flag on the top of the radio and TV building. The recovery of this sovereignty was an important step to fully benefit from the independence. At 8 p.m. there was the jingle made by Mahidin Bintair in Arabic. Then there was the excellent journalist Othman Amer who presented the first TV news edition. In the 70s, the Algerian media institution witnessed a great development in the production, broadcasting and transmission techniques. In the mid-80s, the media institution was divided into 4 companies totally independent, which marked a new era full of challenges to record all the national and international events. The journalists and the representatives of the Algerian radio and TV were fully committed to their mission with a lot of professionalism. In the 21st century, the digital world became part of the media sector to meet the aspirations of the audience. This evolution led to the creation of 9 various TV channels with specialized and adapted content, in addition to a website. We report the citizens' concerns with a lot of professionalism and rigor. Our mission is to accompany all the projects of the country to rise the challenges. We also support all the fair causes and the fight for independence. A media mission that reflects Algeria's principles and values in sharing accurate information, defending the interests of the nation, and supporting the fair causes.
And on this occasion of October 28th, our English news reporter Najah Tayar has put together a story that walks through key details of English news segments and their essential role in the Algerian national television and its viewership.
62 years since its official independence. Along the way, the flourishing of the Algerian national television is evident, particularly with the successful integration of English news into Canal Algérie programming. Since the addition of English news 5 years ago, it has played a significant role in enhancing the visibility of Algerian news both nationally and internationally.
The English news has a positive impact on the Algerian viewership. First of all, because nowadays the Algerians speak English more than in the past. There are more English speakers. And then the English news edition is destined to the Algerians living abroad, and especially those living in the American continent, North America. Well, it's not the same timeline, so they can watch it. It airs at 11 p.m. So yes, I think that the English news has a very positive impact on the Algerian viewership wherever the Algerians live, wherever they are. As a journalist, I am more interested in cultural reports and development reports. For example, I really love making reports on startups or artists or cultural events.
The news segment has demonstrated its importance through the delivery of timely and relevant news, catering the diverse audiences and improving Algeria's media representations on the global stage. This success can be attributed to the qualified team behind the news broadcast and the advanced resources available for reporting. It's essential to recognize that behind every news broadcast is a dedicated team where each member plays a crucial role. News editions are the product of immense effort, with work beginning early each day to ensure everything is ready on time. As editor-in-chief, it is necessary to ensure coordination between the editors-in-chief and the journalistic staff and the political office in particular, since they are up to date with the current events in real time, particularly when it comes to official and presidential activity. In addition to this, Canal Algérie English News has contributed to fostering understanding and communication across cultures, as it provides English-speaking audiences with insights into Algeria's socio-political landscape and cultural nuances. Overall, the growth of this segment exemplifies the Algerian national television's commitment to modernization and inclusivity in its broadcasting efforts.
In other news, and following Algeria's request, the emergency meeting of UNSC on recent Zionist military attacks on the Islamic Republic of Iran was an opportunity for our ambassador, the permanent representative to the UN, to express Algeria's solidarity with the Islamic Republic of Iran, considering these attacks as a flagrant violation to the international law and urging the international community to take action to stop the Zionist escalation in the Middle East.
Algeria condemns in the strongest terms the recent military attacks by the Israeli occupation forces perpetrated against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We stand in full solidarity with Iran, condemning these attacks as violation of its sovereignty and a clear violation of the UN Charter and international law. The international community has a duty to curb the Israeli occupation and stop its continued escalation, which has brought the Middle East into an endless cycle of instability.
And 24 days since the beginning of the siege imposed on northern Gaza by the Zionist occupation forces, more than 1,000 people have been killed, while attacks continue to take place all over the Strip, killing at least 5 Palestinians with 10 wounded. And the Zionist entity continues its bombings on Lebanon. Lebanon's health ministry said at least 16 people have been killed in the Zionist strikes on Baalbek in the eastern part of the country. Large mobilization yesterday in Morocco and in response to the call for demonstrations launched a few days ago by the National Labour Union. Massive gatherings took place, in particular, in front of the parliament in Rabat. Moroccans denounced the normalization with a Zionist entity, but above all, the deterioration of economic and social situation, which became the main source of unprecedented crisis.
Thousands of Moroccans are gathering today in front of the parliament in Rabat, responding to the call of the National Union of Labour in Morocco. This massive mobilization centered on the defense of purchasing power embodies a generalized fed up with the rapid deterioration of living conditions and reveals a growing gap between the population and the Makhzen regime. Data from the High Commission for Planning testifies an alarming situation. The number of Moroccans in absolute poverty has experienced a vertiginous increase from 623,000 in 2019 to 1.42 million in 2022, an annual increase of 34%. As for economic precariousness, it now affects 4.75 million people compared to 2.6 million 3 years ago, with an average increase of 23.6 per year. The daily life of citizens is also marked by an unprecedented surge in prices, even on basic necessities, some of which have increased up to 200%. Morocco is going through a deep crisis marked by the government's inability to manage essential social and economic issues, which is fueling growing despair, especially among young people who no longer see a future in their country. On the other hand, the Makhzen is intensifying repression, targeting in particular demonstrators, such as medical students accused of rebellion. In addition to these social and economic tensions, there is a growing protest against the policy of normalization with the Zionist entity. Tens of thousands of Moroccans continue to demonstrate regularly to denounce the normalization of relations, which is seen as a betrayal of the Palestinian cause, while accusing the Makhzen regime of legitimizing an entity accused of war crimes.
That was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.